Long time no see, besties. My name is Sequoia Reads. Welcome back to my channel. I took a little bit of a hiatus. I have been doing a fitness journey, weight loss journey, so I haven't really had much time to sit down and film. Today we are going to be talking dark romance, all things dark romance, from my favorite books, the kind of tropes, the subgenres, literally everything. So buckle up, it's gonna be a wild one. We've got our matcha. Now let's get into the video. According to this person right here, this site, dark romance, or DR, is a mature subgenre of romance novels that explores the complicated, messy, and sometimes twisted aspects of love and relationships. Okay. So, with that being said, that's my favorite type of book. I love the dark and twisted side of things. I don't really like ooey gooey, like Hallmarky type books. I prefer to read something, I want to say raw. I want to read something raw that kind of like hits something in my brain that makes me question why I'm like that. So, I also love how passionate the romance is in dark romance. 9 times out of 10, they either absolutely hate each other but go at it like wild animals, or one of the characters is just so passionately in love with the other one. They do some morally questionable things, and that is what kind of pushes it towards the dark romance side of things. And I love that. I eat it up every single time. Without a doubt, it is my most favorite thing ever. I put some cream thing. Actually, this. I put Coffee Mate cold foam in my matcha and it tastes weird. Let's talk trigger warnings, content warnings, all of that fun type of stuff. So, 9 times out of 10, when you pick up a dark romance book, when you first open the book, there is going to be a page or multiple pages that list off triggering subjects or themes that happen throughout the book. And it is very, very important you read that and you don't just go into it blind. I did that with Haunting Adeline. That was crazy of me. But I also am the type of person, I don't really get triggered. Absolutely nothing triggers me. The only thing that can possibly trigger me is watching self-harm in like a TV show or a movie. But like reading things don't trigger me, and I absolutely love it. But sometimes people don't read the trigger warnings on books, and then they get really upset when they get triggered and it goes against what they like or their comfort zone, and then they bash the author. My biggest piece of advice, if you are watching this video not just to listen to me ramble, if you are watching this video because you want to read dark romance books, figure out what you are comfortable with, where you draw the line, and just kind of keep that in the back of your mind when you're picking up these books, when you're watching these videos on the internet or these TikToks where they're recommending you this crazy dark romance book and you're like, oh my god, I need this. Sometimes you don't, and it is okay, and it is okay to protect your peace, okay? But at the end of the day, these content and trigger warnings are put into the books for the readers because mental health matters, and sometimes the material that we read can be damaging to our mental health, and a lot of people don't like to admit that, but it is. I actually I DNF'd Kid by Jessie Hall because it hit a little bit too close to home for me, and it didn't necessarily trigger me. It just made me a little uncomfy reading about things that I know how that hurts people. So if you've read the book Kid, you know what I'm talking about. But that was just a book where I was like, you know what? I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to put this book down. I'm going to come back to it. Not sure when, but I'm gonna. In most dark romance books, we are exploring themes of abuse, trauma, violence, unhealthy, toxic relationships, and you know, if that's something that triggers you or upsets you or may make you uncomfortable, it may not be a genre for you, and that's perfectly okay. For me, I love it. I eat it up. Talking on abusive relationships, violence, trauma, all that sorts of stuff. My all-time favorite book to this day, I have been actively reading as an adult since 2023. It is now 2025, and still this book sits at the tippy top of my favorite reads. That is Shallow River by H.D. Carlton. If you are looking for an absolutely gut-wrenching book, this is for you. This book, according to H.D. Carlton, was a trauma dump. It was one of her earlier releases, and this touches on domestic violence. It talks about being a survivor and going through the motions of stuff. And this book is just my favorite. I love it so much. This is also one of the new covers. It's so beautiful. Absolutely stunning. But yeah, this is my favorite book, and I am horrible. I recommend it to people sometimes. I recommend it to the people that I know can read dark romance books and don't normally have a hard time with it, but sometimes people still have a hard time with it. I read it in one night. I loved it. But this is my favorite book. This is definitely a dark romance book. This is not like a he's morally gray. No, this is dark. Okay. Dark, dark, dark. If you're like, oh my god, domestic violence, dark romance, what? The romance is not between the abuser and the main female character, River. It is between Mako, and River. So this is an amazing example of dark romance, the types of themes that it touches on. It's not always just morally gray characters that people sweat over. Sometimes we have a morally gray, or in some cases morally black characters, and I like to describe those characters and those types of people as their morals and their line of thinking do not line up with normal people lines of thinking. So let's use Zaid Meadows as an example. He runs a company where he is catching, unaliving, and torturing horrible people, okay? He is like a vigilante, however you say it. But then he turns around and he stalks this girl that he saw in a damn bookstore. That is kind of morally gray to me. I don't know. But I did absolutely love that book. That was the first ever dark romance book that I read. That is another book where you want to read the trigger warnings. Stalking is a big part of that book. But that is another great dark romance book. There's also we're just gonna go through H.D. Carlton's books, I think, because I love them. She is an auto-buy author for me. Like, I will buy her books no matter what. Does It Hurt? There are some morally questionable things that the main male character does, but his like vibe isn't black or gray, so I don't even know what circle we'd put him in. But then there's Where's Molly, which if you read Hunting Adeline, that kind of tells you who Molly is. But the male character is morally gray, but so is the female. Okay? That one's crazy. Oh, that's like, what the fuck is the name of that book? The Mindfuck series? It's the female that is morally gray, morally black. She's literally a serial unaliver. Such a good series. Such a good series. Sadly, the author passed away. But her work was so good, and it is very much so loved and cherished and appreciated I just rambled about some of my favorite dark romance books, but now I want to touch on some examples of themes that you can see in dark romance books, and also give you examples of books that fit in those themes. So we're gonna start off strong. We have mafia romance. Those are books where the characters are involved in organized crime in some way, shape, or form. I personally don't read a lot of mafia romance books. I don't know why. I just haven't really had the itch. I'm very much so a mood reader, and I like to stick to the type of books I know I like. But I will put up some examples of mafia romance books here. There is also stalking and kidnapping type of romance books. This is where we're gonna go down a rabbit hole, because this is one of my favorite, like, little mini tropes. If it were to ever happen to me in real life, first off, don't even want to put that out into the universe, because I am a female home alone right now. But second, if that were to ever happen to me, I would not like the experience, obviously. Do I like to read about it and feel like I'm a little helpless little female? Yes. Yes, I do. The first, obviously, dark romance book that I ever read was Haunting and Hunting Adeline. Those are both stalker romance books. The male character is a stalker. And then in the second book, Adeline gets kidnapped, and we go through her experiences. There's also, oh, what? Am I stupid? Hang on. There's also Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. This is signed. I met Miss Nevessa, okay? She's an absolute sweetheart. But Lights Out by Nevessa Allen is also a stalker romance. It's kind of a comedy, too, at the same time. It's very, very fun. My dog also ate my book that I got signed. Nevessa, if you see this and you feel bad and you want to send me another book, I'll pay for it if you want to sign it. Again, because that is absolutely heartbreaking. But that is a stalker romance. Female character is a trauma nurse, and the male main character is a masked TikToker who posts thirst traps, and that's really fun. Also, Morgan Bridges has some books that fit in the stalker category. There's Once You're Mine and Now You're Mine. I personally haven't read those, but I know that they're very dark and a lot of people like them. Little Stranger, that is a more of a taboo stalker romance. I don't even know if it fits in the stalker realm of things. Then there is Chantal Tessier's The Lord series. I have only read the first 2 books, and both of those were very heavy on the stalking, very heavy on the dark. In The Ritual by Chantal Tessier, there's some kidnapping, stalking. That's also a college romance. Oh my god, going back to the mafia romance, the God of blah 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 series. I don't know the name of that series, but it is mafia romance. They're in like a mafia college. That is pretty cool. Stalker romances are probably one of my favorites. Danielle and I buddy read one. It was like called like The Hitchhiker or something, or Hitched, I think. Oh, Hitched. That was crazy. Crazy. A lot of these books are so unhinged, and it is so fun when I read them with my friends, because we're both like, what the hell? If you know me, you know that I am a dark romance and romantic fantasy girly, and I love when those two worlds collide, which will put us into the dark fantasy romance realm of things. So that is set in a fantasy world, obviously. It includes dark sometimes disturbing elements. An example that I love to use as dark fantasy romance is the Infatuated Fae series by Miss Janina Riley. I love her so much. I have a whole tattoo for her. But that series, the freaking Malum is a shadow daddy for 1. For 2, it's just dark. It's dark, nasty, gritty, crazy. It is so good. Then we can go on to gothic romance. They're haunted. There's like elements of horror, ghosts, haunting. It's just like, picture this, right? You pictured it? Now picture this. And that is gothic romance. I don't know if I've read many of them, but I will. I love that idea. There's also forbidden or taboo romance. Those would kind of be like the Little Stranger type books, where it's like, this is a person's sibling by marriage or by adoption, or this is a step sibling, or a brother's best friend, or something like that, where it's just taboo. It's not, oh, Praise by Sarah Kate. That is her boyfriend. It's her boyfriend's daddy, okay? Okay, also Birthday Girl. That's another one. Oh, and, Credence by Penelope Douglas. All fit in the taboo, forbidden romance genre. We already talked about Mafia. There's post-apocalyptic. We're not even gonna say it. We're not gonna say it because I can't even say it. But that one speaks for itself. It's set in a time where we are not currently. There are twisted fairy tale romance, which I have one. Twisted fairy tale romance. The Wrath of Roses by Violet Taylor is a dark retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So, this is a very beautiful book. It's signed. I met her at Sinful Signings, along with Navessa Allen and a lot of other amazing romance authors. So, a few weeks ago on my Instagram and TikTok, I asked some of my followers why they like dark romance books and what their favorite dark romance book is, what their favorite trope is, what their favorite, like, everything, what trigger actually triggers them. And I got a couple of responses, and we're gonna share them. So, first we're gonna talk about the TikTok comments. One of my mutuals on TikTok says that she absolutely hates Mafia. It is so overplayed and most of the time not done well. In her opinion, whatever Knock to Cadia is her favorite. So whatever, like, subgenre or trope or theme that book is her favorite. I would have to agree to that Mafia thing. I've read God of Pain, I think is the first one. God of Wrath. No, it's God of Wrath. And I didn't really like it. It felt like I was reading a Wattpad fanfiction, which is perfectly okay. I used to read those before I went to bed in, like, middle school. But it's really not for me. I think I don't really like it that much. Somebody named Elliot said, I love a good why choose dark romance, especially when it's extra dark. I have yet to really delve into the why choose romances. I've read the Devil's Night series where it kind of has a little bit of why choosing. Oh great, my mom just tested positive for COVID and I literally just hung out with her today. And I work in oncology. The Devil's Night series has some themes of why choose and, like, why choose when there's so many? But doesn't at the same time. I also don't know, like, what are good Wide Shoes books. So if there are any, if you have any recommendations, let me know, because I will try them. I will. I think I tried the Heathens book, something like that. It's by Samantha Knox. And it was just too many point of views, and it very much so overwhelmed me, so I didn't really read it that much. But then a follower, or I think I follow her. I don't know. She may follow me. I may follow her. Who knows? But her name is Deborah. She said, reading dark romance makes me feel like I'm not alone. I find characters that have been through some similar situations like I have, and I see how they got out and healed from it. Which I wholeheartedly agree with. I think reading a story and being able to relate to the character on such a personal and emotional level really puts you in that spot in the book. Kind of puts you in as the character, and you're living through it, and it's really fun. It's also heartbreaking sometimes because you're like, oh my god, but that's okay. She also said, now to answer the rest of your questions, her favorite subgenre is stalkers. She loves the absolute unhinged obsession. Me too, girl. Maybe it's just knowing someone is on our side, determined to make us feel safe. They will protect us, give us love that is so deep you can feel it in your soul, and always have someone by your side. They will always put you first and hurt people that have ruined you. Yes, that is what everybody needs in a romantic partner. Her biggest turnoff in dark romance has to be child sexual assault, and I would have to agree. If there's mentions of it, I am okay mentally. But if it's going into details, like if it's the main character reliving their past, I can't do it. There was actually something going around on Booktok a few months ago, of an author that literally, I think she was trying to do like the Big Little like BDSM kink thing in the book, but it was not that. It was disgusting. And we will not be talking about it, but that type of stuff absolutely disgusts me. It disgusts me to my core. It is so bad. Now to my Instagram story. I posted this on my Instagram. I had 2 responses. I don't have a lot of followers on Instagram, so I'm okay with that. But anyway, at Catch Me Booktok, she said, all the stalkers, all the time, gimme, with like one of those sweating, smiling emojis. And girl, I felt that. Me too. And then Booked by Lex said, I would gladly help, but I have no idea why I read them. Same. Even though I just am filming a whole video on why I read them. But girl, I don't really know either. I don't know. If you liked listening to me ramble about dark romance and all of the crazy things that go along with it, please give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can follow me on my other social medias. I am at Sequoia Reads on everything from Instagram to TikTok. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.